2:50 p.m. April 15th, a bomb goes off at the finish line of the Boston Marathon. 12 seconds later, another explosion not far away. Runners and spectators at the finish line stunned, many running from the scene and some toward it. Marathon volunteers become first responders trying to save lives. Tents meant for tired runners used for triage. Police told runners and spectators to clear the area. Reports of more possible bombs, air traffic grounded, a separate fire at the JFK library that proved to be unrelated. Soon, hospitals report fatalities and scores of serious injuries, including lost limbs and injuries to children. Then shock as we get details of one of the deaths. Martin Richard, an 8-year-old boy whose sweet smile became the face of the tragedy for many. Boston and the nation on high alert. At 6:10 p.m., the president condemned the attack.
We still do not know who did this or why.
Federal officials quickly classified the bombings as an act of terror and put all hands on deck with a level 1 mobilization. All sports and cultural events in Boston canceled. The finish line of the Boston Marathon now a crime scene, bustling with investigators looking for clues.
Someone knows who did this.
Day 2, with no one in custody, law enforcement makes a plea for the public's help, asking for videos and photographs.
We ask that businesses review and preserve video surveillance, video and other business records in their original form. And we are asking the public to remain alert.
The investigation finds only 2 bombs were used in the attacks, nearly identical devices that were homemade, assembled inside pressure cookers, filled with metals designed to inflict damage.
We've been removing various things from people in the sense of it's not necessarily identified, it's just pieces of plastic, metal, just various random things.
As the day goes on, we learn that 29-year-old Medford, Massachusetts resident Crystal Campbell is one of the other victims of the attack. Her mother, Patty, tried to hold back emotion for the cameras.
She had a heart of gold. She was always smiling and friendly. I couldn't ask for a better daughter.
The third victim is revealed by Boston University to be a 23-year-old graduate student, Chinese national Lingzi Liu. Her advisor and professor remembers a kind woman with a bright future.
It's such a waste of all the time and energy and dreams that she had, and we'll never know what she could have done.
Day 3, still no arrests and a city on edge. Governor Deval Patrick spoke with CNN's Wolf Blitzer, urging the public to be patient.
This is going to take some time, a lot of time, and particularly given that there hasn't been an individual or group that's claimed responsibility.
Day 4, President Obama comes to Boston and speaks at an interfaith service, telling Boston the country stands with it.
The world will return to this great American city to run harder than ever and to cheer even louder for the 118th Boston Marathon. Bet on it.
Later that day, a break in the case. The FBI releases photos and surveillance videos of these 2 men walking with backpacks. At 10:48 p.m., gunshots are heard on the campus of MIT in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Reports come in that campus officer Sean Collier was killed. Soon after, 2 men carjack a black SUV Mercedes, leading police on a chase, throwing a grenade and pipe bombs out of the stolen car's windows, culminating with a shootout in nearby Watertown, where one suspect, revealed to be Tamerlan Tsarnaev, was killed. Day 5, witnesses describe the mayhem.
We saw the explosion. We must have heard about 60 gunshots.
2:40 a.m., a robocall sent to Watertown residents.
There is an active incident in Watertown right now. Chief DeVoe is advising all Watertown East End residents to remain in their homes.
4:22 a.m., a suspect on the run.
We believe this to be a terrorist. We believe this to be a man who's come here to kill people. We need to get him in custody.
By 8 a.m. Friday, all of Boston and surrounding areas shut down as an unprecedented manhunt ensues for suspect 2, 19-year-old Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, brother of suspect 1.
We have suspended all service on the MBTA, our public transit service, and that will continue until we think it's safe to open all or some of that. We're asking people to shelter in place, in other words, to stay indoors with their doors locked.
At 8:20 p.m., the stay-inside order was lifted without a suspect in custody.
In terms of how he got away, he did it on foot. He fled on foot.
Minutes later, a Watertown resident walks outside and sees blood on his boat, lifts the tarp and sees a man covered in blood. Authorities rush to the scene. A standoff with flash bombs, gunfire, a tense 25 minutes seen in this infrared video from the Massachusetts State Police. It finally ended after FBI negotiators convinced Tsarnaev to crawl out of the boat and surrender, according to law enforcement sources. He was swiftly taken into custody.
Today, the city of Boston, the city of Cambridge, and the city of Watertown, and many other communities can breathe a sigh of relief.
Tsarnaev, severely weakened from blood loss, was taken by ambulance to the hospital. Overnight in the streets of Boston, celebrations. Law enforcement hailed as heroes. Day 6, as Tsarnaev lay sedated and unable to speak from a neck injury, federal prosecutors prepared charges against him. Pamela Brown, CNN, Boston, Massachusetts.